This is Joe's track. 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 Turn this into an intro song for the Valleycast.
I don't care what my parents say. I'm gonna do it with vigor. I don't care what my parents say.
It's like epic rap battle.
A little bit. Vigor. I don't care what my parents say.
Drunk and stoned and a little hit by a car.
Yeah.
That. Do whatever you want with it.
Do whatever you want with it.
That's what
That was
they
lovely.
did. Thank you. That comes from Tony. Today's intro comes from Tony on SoundCloud. That's TOE space KNEE. Very, very clever. And on Reddit, he is Tony Mula. So thank you for that. We have the most talented fan base because we say, hey, here's an idea for a stupid thing you could do for the next intro, and a bunch of people will do it. Somebody did the sad, like, do a minor key of a song when we asked for that. It's amazing.
And it happens immediately. Every time I'm like, well, no one's really going to do it. And then every time,
Very little
someone
searching.
pulls through.
Elliot,
Thank you very much.
Do you want to throw out a challenge for the next intro?
Yeah, I would love for the next intro to, what would I like? I would like some kind of a...
Ooh, think out of the box. Here we go. Here we go.
I got it. I don't know how out of the box this is, but I would love a, like, pop punk, like something that sounds like Blink-182's parents just got divorced,
Okay.
but it's about the Valleyfolk. So some kind of like
Getting divorced.
yeah, like what's that song? What is that song? So here's your holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Hope you. Yeah, I would like that, but in the sound of like Stephen Elliott Lee. Be fun.
I think you just made the intro. I think we're set.
Yeah, you can take that. Yeah,
Challenge taken and accepted and also finished. So we're
can't
good.
wait.
It's
Now
gonna
I
be very good.
definitely feel like it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
now my fingers are crossed.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody. Ooh, we did it together.
Mhm.
Welcome to the Valleycast, the podcast that is put on by the Valleyfolk.
This is a very special episode, Joe.
It is.
How are you feeling? I feel slightly weird.
I feel slightly weird. Prior, I was slightly anxious, but now that I'm in it, I'm like, oh, it's fine. We're
Yeah,
good.
it's totally fine.
Yeah, we're good.
For those of you who aren't familiar, this is a podcast that we do typically with our good friends and business partners, Lee Newton and Steve Zaragoza, and we each bring a topic to the table and we discuss it. This is kind of an experimental episode because Lee and Steve are in New York City prepping for our sold-out show at the Bell House in Brooklyn. And by
Sunday
prepping, I
night.
mean they are roaming around New York and enjoying it. And so we're here, and I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to explore, talk about the Valleyfolk, talk about your experience, Joe, with it, your experience maybe in comparison to where you came from, what kind of year you've had. We're going to do kind of a year.
Let's do a little one-on-one
review.
together. A little one-on-one year in review. Try to be
can't
as
wait.
honest and candid about it all as possible.
Yes.
Say all the dark secrets
All the
about
dark
Lee and Steve now that they're not
Of
here.
course. And absolutely, I know you might be thinking, well, what about Lee and Steve's opinion? It's just the two of you. How do we know what they have to say? And the answer is that it doesn't matter. Our opinion matters because we're the ones on this episode of the podcast. And they have their own opinions, and you can ask them.
Yeah, and give them a call.
Give them a call.
Their numbers are 5.
We'll do-
But we also want to say a big shout out, as always, to our patrons who fuel
Yes.
this. They fuel the company. They fuel everything. That's patreon.com/thevalleyfolk. Please come be a part of the family because we have some exciting announcements about it.
Yes, we're so excited. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into a lot of stuff with Patreon probably in this conversation. But one of the things that's happening is the first episode of Uncanny Valley went up today. We're recording this on December 13th. And it's for our VIP and up patrons. And there's all sorts of reasons behind that, which we'll get into. But basically, it's a show where one of us sits down with a puppet, usually for Ernesto or Scuzz.
One of the two.
And we alternate and we show videos, sometimes from the past, sometimes from SourceFed, sometimes from, the first...
Things that we've done in our priors.
Yeah, and so the first episode is me showing for Ernesto Santa Steve, and we don't know, somebody on screen doesn't know what the video is, and we react to it, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
That's it.
Spoilers.
Nothing crazy.
You had me react to a Brats and Bretta video, one of my old school favorites, and I didn't know that he was going to do that. When Elliot first pitched this show and that he wanted to do it, I went, what? Is it? And then he said what it is, and then I said, I don't get it. But from all of my learnings at SourceFed and my time at Smosh, I've always been somebody that encourages creativity, and I was just like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's make it. And once we made it, I fell in love with it. It's really cool.
It's fun, and I'm excited to it's going to give me an excuse to learn how to edit more. It's kind of me because we don't have, a lot of employees, and so
we have a wonderful Kevin, we have a wonderful Kait, but we don't want to drown them in everything.
And I'm excited to learn how to edit because I don't know how to do any of that, and so
So he's gonna learn.
This is that. But anyway, yeah. So
So
anyway,
there you go. Way to set the bar low with the quality that they can expect from the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
you
how
are
to-
welcome.
I don't know how to edit it, but I'm gonna edit it
Yep.
for you. Please come support us on Patreon.
Yeah, there's gonna be some editing mistakes, and I'm excited about it. So okay,
Yeah, man. Well, real quick, speaking of support, let's just jump right in with this really quick. This episode is brought to you by MeUndies, our favorite sponsor. They're amazing. They've been with us from the start. They
yes.
really
Oh, really?
have-
Are they like the?
Yeah, they're like
Cool.
they're our original OGs of the Valleycast support system. And so, one, thank you to them, and two, if you guys have any last minute holiday shopping needs, these guys are perfect. They're the comfiest underwear any of us have ever worn. Lounge pants, shirts, lounge pants, shirts. They're all great. If you're interested for yourself, a little gift or a gift for your loved ones, this is a great way to go. Real quick, MeUndies uses coveted micromodal fabric, which is 3 times softer than cotton, and that's true. If you've never used this, felt this fabric, get ready to
nice.
experience pure groinal bliss.
Yeah, that's good. That's a really funny. I was gonna say something like that, and they know what they're doing.
Groinal bliss, everybody. You can get
Groinal bliss.
a bunch of styles. They have these cool prints that are sending all the time. They're holiday themed, and they also got normal everyday underwear. So for me, I'm a Princeman. Elliot likes the solid color.
I like solid
and
colors.
we're wearing them
folks.
right now. Here, I'll pull mine out for you.
Yeah.
I think I've pulled these out before. These are not the only ones I wear, but I got the Star Wars prints. You see that?
I mean, mine are just
Zoom
dark.
in right there.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then you got some dark blues. It's
I
very
have dark
cool.
blues. I won't show you, but they are dark navy blues, and they sent me some for the holidays, which is really nice. And I haven't had a pair yet. I haven't had an actual pair of MeUndies underwear, and
Oh, now you're happy.
they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And well, I'll add something after you
You're
finish
converted.
this.
Dark navy blues also was an unreleased Ray Charles song.
Okay, nice.
So
So was a groinal bliss. So
Yeah,
that's on the
the
greatest hits.
B-sides,
Yeah.
the C-sides from Ray Charles. Anyways, you get these for the holiday season. You can use them as stocking stuffers. You can put them in a legit box that's not a stocking stuffer, or get them year-round and just hide them around the house and let them find them throughout the year. So right now, MeUndies has a great offer for our listeners. Any first-time purchasers, when you purchase any MeUndies, you get 15% off and free shipping. Order by 12/16 for free shipping in time for Christmas. This is a no-brainer. Get 15% off a pair of the most comfortable undies you will ever put on. So to get that 15% off your first pair, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, and groinal bliss, go to MeUndies.com/Valley. That is MeUndies.com/Valley.
Don't do it for the other podcasts.
Do it for only
do
us.
it for us. It's
Only
better.
us.
And the underwear makes my groin area not only feel blissful, but it is a good fit
Does it make
for everything that's down there, and it's a
Oh.
nice. I haven't experienced till today was the first day, and I put it on, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so it really is great. So anyway, all right,
the whole experience is great. Groinal bliss leads to groinal piss. So,
Joe, what are we doing?
I don't know.
I want to dive in to a little bit of where we're at, where we're headed, what we're doing, what our hopes are, what our dreams are, what our fears are, stresses, exciting things, stuff we're super
Within
proud
the world of professional living.
of what we do. It's been a big year. We're wrapping it up.
We're literally about at the year mark, by the way. We officially launched January 2nd.
Well, I want
Right?
to say it's like 8th, wasn't it? The
Was
8th?
it? Okay, so the beginning of January we launched, but we were knee deep in discussions around this time.
6th.
And we had shot like our first announcement video, scrapped that because it was crap.
It was very bad.
We looked at it and you could tell that we were nervous, we were angry,
Tense,
we
yep.
were tense. There was
It
our
felt
whole mantra.
stupid. It
our,
felt like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Our whole mantra of friendship was steamrolled by our presence on screen
Yeah.
because there was nothing about friendship in that first video.
No, it was. I mean,
It was bad.
you're over hating it a little bit, but it definitely was unusable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I'm clarified.
No, it was pretty. It was
As bad
pretty
as you're saying it was pretty bad. So we did a second one. We launched the Patreon, and we don't really talk about this a lot, and a lot about kind of all of what the behind the scenes stuff. I don't know that we tend to not think people care, and they may not. But I think it's an interesting
I think
discussion.
there is a
especially
portion that does. I think
Yep.
there's a portion that cares about it in a friendship way. Like, I want to know how my friends got to where they wanted to be. I think there's a portion that cares about it on the creative side. Like, how did all this stuff come to be in the shows? And what are you guys doing to make sure that the funny survives? But then I think there is a big slice of people that want to know how the business side of it works. I've had a lot of questions about that, and I always answer with figuring it out.
For those not
Giving it a shot.
listening or watching, Kate is holding her hand up.
I just made an entire documentary about it.
Kate has made. I
That's
can't
true.
wait to see it. I'm very nervous about it, but she
Yeah.
made a documentary
Are
kind
you
of
happy with
about
the
what we're
documentary, Kate?
doing.
I'd like to add a little more.
Kate would like to add a little more.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Kate wants to add a little more.
What do you think you need to add?
Just a little more interviews.
A little more interviews.
Like with us or with other people?
Working with you guys to get the footage would help me because I had to like
Okay.
drive through all your lives.
We can work
Yeah.
with you to get the
Yeah.
footage.
Kate needs a
do
little
you
bit
want
more one-on-one interview time.
you want my agent's email?
Cool.
Do you want my agent's email and you can just I don't really.
We can coordinate schedules.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Great. I would love to be more in your documentary, Kate, because I love attention. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about this, but let's start generally, Joe.
Okay.
Valleyfolk, what's going on? How are you? You're at a party.
So
you're seeing somebody kind of is like loosely aware of what you're doing. They've seen maybe a video.
You want me to give the honest answer that I give to everybody right now when people ask me?
Is that what you give? Is that an honest?
I will give you the honest answer that I always say. This is like
Ooh, I would love to hear the difference. I would love to hear the difference between like
I think there's a difference
the
between
official answer and
like here like on a podcast or when we're talking about it when we think we're being honest, I think we lean into the it's really fun, it's the excitement and you should lean into that. And then we kind of talk about the growing pains, but when I'm at a party or a family member asks me, I literally say it's the most anxiety inducing, stressful, exciting time.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's because we have thrown our everything into this. It's not just being creative, it's being creative and running a business. And then when you're doing that, the small things seem so big. And when you're worrying about the small things, you're not worrying about the creative. But the problem is that the product is the creative. So I'm running around, and you guys know, and we've talked about this before, I tend to do a lot of the minutia for the group. Like I take on a lot of the administrative stuff, emailing, and I'm not saying I'm good at it. It's just I'm the one that'll do it.
Well, you kind of are like the unofficial patriarch of the family of the Valleyfolk. Like when people, I mean, if it's the one thing I think that I outsource to you the most is anything to do with this, with the landlord, with any rent or like our neighbors here, like the office stuff.
And you're just
I
saying
want
it.
nothing to
There's
do with
all that stuff that we've never worried about before while approaching a creative endeavor before.
Yeah.
So it's stressful and excruciating at times because we just want to worry about being funny. We want to worry about making the best product and saying the dumbest thing on a couch and then like watching edits and stuff like that. And in the past, that's even at Smosh, like when I worked there and it was more of a behind the scenes production role, I still knew what my path was, even though there was more responsibility, but there was a certain path. Here, our day-to-day is forking constantly. You'll start on one thing, and then you'll get distracted by this thing on the left and this thing on the right, and rarely is it all creative.
We also have like a very interesting kind of like if you're at a regular job, it's like you kind of have a path, and you're like, I'm gonna work hard, do the job, get promoted, and like any job where you're employed, that's gonna happen, and you kind of have like a system that like you fall into. But for us, the metrics of success are so varied even amongst the four of us. Like what I would define as success isn't always what you would define as success, and certainly not Lee or Steve, obviously. That goes without saying throughout this conversation. There's me speaking as me and Joe speaking as Joe. Right. But so there's total like.
You know what we're battling?
Afraid.
Well, as you're saying that, what comes to my mind? Exactly. But what we're battling in it is, I don't want to say, we tend to like be like, ooh, we suck at business or whatever. I don't think we suck. I think we're learning. And I don't like saying that we're bad at things. I think we should say we're trying to get better at things, right? But what we're battling in this world of making the Valleyfolk work outside of just being a creative endeavor, but being our professional endeavors and everything that we're putting our lives on right now, is a sense of idealism versus reality. Like there's something we all want this to be, and it's different for all four of us, and that's also a struggle, trying to take those four things and slam them together into a unified front that we move forward with where everybody's happy, which is impossible. As we've talked about, is what I worry about, and Elliot's like, stop worrying about that. But there's this idealistic
Joe
version.
just gave you 11 months of conversation summed up into 2 sentences.
There's like an idealistic version of this for everybody. There's a certain thing we want to make. And let's say that unified thing, let's say it is couches, it is a news show, it is a podcast. we know, speaking right now, candidly, that that's not good enough to keep this thing alive. And we need to grow and we need to adapt. And we're trying to figure out what that adaptation is. Is it streaming more? Is it taking it off of YouTube completely, which on an idealistic side is something we don't want to do. We love doing it. We love making it because it's what we've done for the past 12 years and the way we've done it. And it makes us happy when we do it.
It's also where
It's where our
are.
fans are.
Yeah.
It's where we're at. But we need to find a way to do that better or do something along with it. And that's the business side of it. And that's trying new things and not being afraid to take risks. But then we go back to the little things that I was talking about. And a little risk, like let's try this thing, feels so big sometimes because now the Valleyfolk is our house of cards.
Yeah.
You know, and if you take out one of those cards because you did the wrong thing, like cut all the wires in the office and then you don't sleep about it for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
it's because it feels like it could tumble everything.
Yeah. You're very right. How are you feeling creatively?
Creatively,
This is fun. It's like a fun little interview that I
Yeah.
feel like. Thank you for being here, Joe.
I think creatively there's it's like a polygraph test of spikes.
Yeah, 'cause you're
and-
lying
and
constantly.
dips, right? Yeah, but no, it's like some days it's like
Yeah.
I did that thing I wanted to do, and that's a really high spike.
Yep.
And other times you make concessions, but those concessions aren't bad things because sometimes my high spikes are things like the review video we did. It was a high spike for me because it was Lee's idea, and I loved it, and we got to make it, and we all enjoyed making it. And then there was a little low spike after it because it didn't hit like we wanted it to, right? You put all your eggs into these little baskets at times, and sometimes the baskets drop,
Yeah.
right? But I was really happy we made it, and we're going to make more, you know?
And we'll just thumb them better and title them better.
But overall, I think I get my creative rocks off a lot on supporting you guys in making things, and that's how I've always kind of been. When I get to help make an Elliot idea and I can improve it or put myself into it in some way. Same with Steve, same with Lee. That's great. I'm a little more hesitant to, and you know this, I think I'm a little bit more hesitant to push my own creative agenda.
I don't know, man. I think in terms of, I mean, maybe, yeah. I would say, I would agree with what you're saying, but you also don't, I mean, so many of the videos that have hit, like, what was it, just hit 100, which for us is very good. It was your, I think it was your,
Trivia Bidet.
Yeah, Trivia Bidet, which
Yeah.
you'd been talking about for a while, and everyone was kind of like, all right, man.
Yeah, we don't want to do this.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with anything. Anytime it's like the birthday of Joe was Lee's script, and it's like it becomes this thing where I don't know, the dream scenario I think for me is everybody gets to make the stuff that they want, and I think that like when something like Lee comes along with a script for the birthday of Joe, we'll kind of sit down and be like, all right, whatever, and it'll be like this sort of like we all kind of will fall behind the person spearheading it, which I think is a very cool thing, despite the fact that at the same time that's happening, we're also kind of all wanting to kill each other sometimes.
I've said from the start that I think the thing that we should always push forward is the thing that at least somebody is very passionate about, right?
That's nice.
So
yeah.
when Lee comes, and it makes it easy to do. Like, so when, that's my phone, I apologize. When Lee shows up and with a script that she wrote, and she goes, hey guys, I wrote this script. We're like, all right.
Yeah,
cool.
really cool.
And then she's like, I want to make it. We're like, great. Because then she has the passion. She produces it. She works with the editors to make it happen in the shooting and the pre-production. And the same thing with like me and Trivia Bidet. I wanted to make that happen, so I made it happen. So we all become mini producers and we support each other at times.
Yeah, it's very nice.
You know, I think it's very rare that a tepid idea makes it into the drink. Right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what a tepid idea would be.
A tepid
for
idea.
us.
How about this? I think we get tepid at times when we fall into the YouTube trap, where we're like, we have to do this show today because this show is expected today. So we've probably made some tepid Your World Todays.
Yeah, maybe. Yes. I think we have made. There's been some videos of Your World Today that I don't think were good, but. Like we said in the most recent episode, it also gives an excuse to write jokes, and it's something that, as
And
a
flex
collectively, we
muscles.
love to do. Yeah, and it keeps us fresh, and it keeps us like coming into work and being. It forces us to be creative, even if sometimes we drop the ball. And
Yeah, and a multiple of anything is an A/B test, right? Like if it's something didn't do well, we can compare it to other things and see why and whatever. How do you feel creatively?
I feel very good. I feel like I don't know. I'm very excited, so I feel like I'm just in a state of like. It's also the end of the year, so I'm like. Just like,
I know.
Like I don't want to
know.
do a lot, but yeah, I feel really good, dude. This has been the best. Like you said it perfectly. It's been when you said it's exciting and terrifying, and all those things. I think it's this is far and away truly has been the best year of my life, and absolutely has been the most stressful and like, I mean, it was like not good. But I remember, dude, if you'd have told me a year ago that this would be happening now, I would be over the moon, especially if you were like showing me some of the videos and the content that we're making and like the growth that we're seeing. I'm like, oh, thank God. But that feeling can go away like in a moment. If we see the Patreon start to dip, if we see this, then everything that this momentum that we have and this like excitement and the belief that I have in us as a group dwindles, only because it's like, what if this all goes away immediately? And so there's almost like a shell-shocked kind of like, I'm afraid to step forward, and every time I have stepped forward in some way, it's been received incredibly well by both the patrons and the audience. I think that is true across the board. Like, but there is a sense of like I just, okay, like should I do this, and can I still do this, and all that stuff. And so I get, I get in my head and anxiety.
I think we get in our heads because, again, House of Cards, we're very worried about growth.
When you say House of Cards, do you mean the show? Or are you saying that we are built upon a house of
I'm
cards?
saying everything is a house of cards. Like that's how I've always kind of described like professional and personal life. Like if one card got flicked out, if you feel like your foundation is supported by one thing,
it's all
everything
connected.
crumbles.
I see.
Yeah.
But you don't mean House of Cards in the sense that it's like a fake facade.
Guys, we weren't going to say anything, but we're going to announce it now. We got the rights to House of Cards.
We did. Nobody wanted it.
So we took it.
Because that last season was trash. Don't at me. It was horrible. I can't believe they did that crap.
So we're worried about growth so much that I feel like that keeps us from enjoying a lot of the milestones like we should have been enjoying them a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because we're comparing ourselves, I think, to a past that wasn't fair.
Of course.
Which was a SourceFed, which came like just skyrocketed. There was different types of support there. We had Phil, we had Google
the website
backing
was
it.
different,
we had the website. So I think there's a subconscious comparison to that type of stuff. Just came from Smosh, and those numbers were ridiculous. So there's a subconscious comparison to that. So you have to formulate new goals and new goalposts to measure your success, right? Our growth, admittedly, on a YouTube level, hasn't been as fast as we would like it to be.
True.
So I think we worry about that a lot.
Oh,
but to get back to creativity, I am very proud and very happy with what we've done. And every time we release a Your Show, I think nobody's doing this.
No.
This is unique.
No, we're the best. We're the best.
I'm super proud of it. Like I'm proud of the format. I'm proud
good.
I'm proud
found
of
it.
what we do with it.
Yeah, we're really good with it.
Yeah, the sketches are really funny.
They're really
and
fun.
They're different.
They're
and they're
weird.
And they're different every week.
Very irreverent.
We haven't fallen into a pattern with it.
Nope.
The couch, again, to be honest, pulled back the curtain even more. We didn't want to do commentary again,
Correct.
but we knew we had there was a call for it. People wanted it. But I knew as a group, we didn't want to sit on a couch like that all week, and we were worried about being comparisons and a nostalgia play and all that.
Well, and sketch channels don't typically do super well on YouTube. Like if you're just a sketch group and you're making sketches, people aren't gonna. You might have one that pops every once in a while, but people want to see your faces. They want to see your personalities.
Right. But even in regards to your show and our couch bits on your show, I now think that the couch bits on your show are so unique and different from the things that we did in the past.
Oh, it's a totally different piece.
I'm really proud of those too.
Dude, it's the best.
You know?
I've stopped. Really, it's gotten to a point where pretty much everything I'm pretty like excited about and proud to do when the time comes. Sometimes I'm still like, I get in my head obviously, but yeah, like the couch now is like, I mean, it's become a thing of like, how weird can we make this moment every single moment? You were doing insane stuff the other day, and it just becomes absurd, and it becomes there's almost like an anarchy to it. I don't know. I love it. I think it's very cool. I think on some scale we're like a very small scale. We kind of I can't emphasize how small the scale is, but if you were to imagine, this is how I like to imagine the Valleyfolk and us in the dynamic. I think that like there's all these people that grew up watching like Superbad, and there's like the Seth Rogen kind of gang, and then there's like the Will Ferrell gang, and then there's like all these like kind of like friend groups that make funny stuff together, and they're all different styles. And I do think we are a very small like microcosm of a very unique style of comedy that I think, to talk in terms of comedy, like we're very like, we harp on that word a lot, but I also don't think it's limited to comedy. Like I think there's a lot of stuff that is down the pipeline that is so much more than that.
Dude, Joe's birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't a funny video.
It wasn't.
At all.
It was, I mean, there were funny parts for sure.
For sure.
You chuckled, like, there's like 4 solid chuckles in it. But yet that's the kind of stuff where it's like, oh, this is what the potential is, and we just have to get there. But I think, yeah, the voice that we have collectively is something that I think, I don't know, if I didn't believe, what comforts me the most is that I believe in the whatever happened,
Right.
the alchemy thing that happens.
I appreciated your anarchy description of the couch, because that really is what it is. So, I mean, the four of us got back together because we really do like it when the four of us are together. We know that's different. It's fulfilling. We can go into on in a second and then turn it off when we're done. We realize when we're supposed to be performing and when we're not, and there's something about that. There's something magical, and we enjoyed it a lot. But on that couch, when the four of us are just riffing and being ourselves, there's a synergy that occurs, but there is also anarchy. It is like we are nations that are in a pact, right? It's like NAFTA.
Oh, wow. What a great way of putting
Right?
it.
But every once in a while, somebody breaks off and drops a bomb and starts some anarchy and does their own thing, and then the others have to adapt. And then we just do, and then we come back to the pact. It's incredible.
It's very strange and unique, and it's a lot of it's like a weird version of muscle memory. Like we can fall. There's moments where it'll be like we'll be doing something, and then when it's over, I'm like, I have no idea what just happened.
Right.
And then not just because I'm like high. Yeah, it'll also be because like I was in the moment and I don't know why we did what we did, but it's all very, very fun.
And of course, when there's a good pact or whatever, there's a lot of people supporting that pact. So if you just saw the raw footage, you might be entertained. But we surrounded ourselves with a good team from the start, and they take our I'm going to use the word crap, but it's lovable crap, and they edit it into something perfect. If it's on the couch or if it's out doing an out yonder, Kait and Kevin take that stuff and they mold it into a wedding cake of beauty.
Yeah. Yes. You hear that, Kait? You hear that compliment? You hear that, Kait Clement?
She's writing it down.
Listen, guys. I do this thing called Stitch Fix, and it's I'm wearing their pants right now. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that finds and delivers clothes, shoes, and accessories to fit your body, budget, and lifestyle. So you can go to Stitch Fix. Oh, perfect, yeah.
I don't know if it's perfect, but you're gonna roll with it.
Guys, just go to stitchfix.com/valley and tell them your sizes, what styles you like, and how much you want to spend on each item. You'll be paired with your very own personal stylist who will handpick items and send to your door. You have a door? How about you have something sent to it? How about a box full of clothes? Then you try them on. You pay only for what you love. You look in the mirror, you go, I'll take this, I'll take this. Ooh, I'll take all of it. Ooh, I'll take none of it. Ooh, it doesn't matter because all the shipping and exchanges and returns, they're always free, which is really cool. I love that. Yeah. There are no subscriptions required. I know this for a fact. They are legit here, and you can sign up and receive scheduled shipments, or you can get your fix whenever you want, which is what I tend to do. Stitch Fix's styling fee is only $20, which gets applied the moment you keep stuff from your shipment, which is pretty cool. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to get started at stitchfix.com/valley, and you'll get an extra 25% off when you keep all the items in your box. That is stitchfix.com/valley. Get started today. Stitchfix.com. /valley.
What are your dreams? Personal, and again, this is on you. This is you. Just you. You don't have to worry about all of us. What are your dreams for Valleyfolk in the near future on?
Valleyfolk.
What do you want it to be? Where do you want it to go? What projects are you hoping you can bring to the table, or we can somehow find a life in?
It's just all I want to do is a film. That's it. And I want to have monetary and numerical success.
So you want to do a film, like your basket right now is filled with a bunch of eggs that wants to write a script and have the Valleyfolk somehow do a film while somehow keeping this alive.
Yeah, and I think film is exactly. And I think film is a sort of a representative example of the general idea of what I think we could do. I think we could make something very
right.
Cool.
We all grew up wanting to make movies.
Yeah, and it's kind of like
TV.
we all. I mean, the point of this. I mean, the company itself was, in my mind, romantically to be like, this is how we make stuff. Like I felt like at the end of in 2016, 2017, there was so much like. I was like, how do you crack the formula of being successful? What do you do? What's the path? And I was like, none of this works anymore. Like I was doing like stand up. I love stand up, but one of the things about stand up that people get trapped in is they're like, well, you go to the Comedy Store, you do that every night, you do that where you come to the door, man. And there's like these little fake paths that people pretend there's no path anymore. And I think that like rather than run from that, I feel like this company is a way of embracing that and going, all right, we can, if we truly want to create, if we're truly artists and we truly believe that we have something in us that is of value that can entertain people, why not just start making it? And when you make it, I do think it's like you make it and they come and that's the joy.
And I agree with that. And I think that's kind of the kernel, the heart of where your frustration starts sometimes. And I think we've talked about that is that you are prepared and primed to shoot for the moon right away. You're like, why haven't we made the movie yet? Right. And then I come from the
not literally, but basic idea.
We got to make the foundation. And once we have that foundation, we can do whatever we want because that foundation is the launch pad for the rocket that takes us to the moon. Right. So I think that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I have no
and a movie
about
could go anywhere. It doesn't mean it's a movie in the theaters. That'd be great. It could be on our channel. It could be sold. It could be just making a movie would be dope.
And the film is, I mean, the film, TV show, like there's pilots that I think that are written, that are ready to go, that us four would do. I mean, dude, last night it was like 11 o'clock and my buddy John DeWeird, a very funny comedy writer who we've written stuff with in the past, he stumbled upon like a scene that we'd written for a script that was basically it was a workplace comedy about news, and it was starring you, me, Lee, and Steve as a way of pitching it. Like it was back years ago. And I was thinking about it for the past couple weeks, and I was like, oh, this is something that like might still have life in it. And he sent me this scene in it that was, I think it was, let me read it to you.
Please bring it up. Bring it up.
Maybe you won't think it's funny at all. But
you're right. I'll be completely candid with you in my review of your spur of the moment presentation.
He said, found this screenshot on my phone and it made me do a full LOL. So the story of the sitcom was you and Lee played happily divorced news anchors who pretended to be together to keep your small town fame alive. So basically you get along.
I like it.
But you are and then I think you are a sex addict as well.
Oh wait, yeah. You've told me about this.
Yeah,
this is great.
It's really funny. And so then there's this scene where basically the executive producer of the news channel dies or kills himself in a funny way,
because we got to establish the dark humor
we should just go
in the series.
Yes,
it's always going to go dark. It's going to skew dark.
Can't help it. And so then this character comes in who is sort of this young guy who is this trying to wrangle these crazy characters. You've heard this classic tale before. And so there's this scene where Peter, the executive producer, says, so you've worked with Jim the longest. He's talking to your character. He goes, you've worked with Jim the longest. Jim is the guy who killed himself. I'm going to ask that on tonight's broadcast you say a nice thing or two honoring him. It's the least we can do. I know in the small amount of time I spent with him, he really inspired me. The small amount of time is that the guy killed himself in front of him by eating pills and slaying his face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Suzanne, played by Lee, says, you mean the breakfast where he killed himself? And then Peter says, please do the tribute. And then your character says, standing dramatic, I volunteer to tribute. And then I look confused because I don't know what that means. And then you go, Katniss fucking Everdeen. And then I go, is that another sex thing? And that's the end of it.
That's fun.
It's just a moment,
But now that you've said it, I think, I'm just throwing this out there, let's make that scene.
Great, let's make it.
Let's just make it here.
I thought about that too. I was like, why don't we just start doing like, I was thinking about like the term web series is something that makes me want to jump off a cliff, but like we could create samples of things and little pitches and that kind of thing.
When you're constantly on the go, grinding away at the office or hanging out with friends, there's not much to think about in upgrading your style or your apartment. And that's why there's Box of Awesome from Bespoke Post every month. These guys are scouting for quality and unique products to send in each box, and now you can experience too at boxofawesome.com. Here's what they do. It's really sweet. They send you themed packages of just cool stuff that ups your style. It's like plus 11 points in the style category. For instance, there's the Churchill box, which Elliot just got, which had a bunch of unique cigars. It had a awesome reclaimed wood ashtray. It has
so cool.
Oh man, it has a candle.
The candle. The candle. And the candle goes in the ashtray when you're. I smoked cigars last night. I smoked the cigars in the
Were they
ashtray.
good?
Oh my god, it was amazing.
I bet the ashtray.
2 different flavors.
Oh, 2 different flavors.
Felt like a real boy.
What flavors were in that box, Elliot?
Of the cigars,
Yeah.
mild and not as subtle.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
Boom. Churchill. Get your Churchill on. There's also an alchemy box, which is really cool, which is just you can upgrade your home bar with pro-level cocktail wares. Ooh, it's so good. Let's see, what do they got in here? They got the Boston Shaker. They got the bar spoon with muddler, Japanese-style jigger, Hawthorne strainer, slow crafted bitters. But anyways, they got all of these cool boxes. A lot for men. They even have a her section on the site, so check that out.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So treat yourself this holiday season, or outside of the holiday season. Why not? To get started, visit boxofawesome.com
and answer a few short questions that will help them get a feel for the boxes that'll best go with your style. Whether you're in search of the perfect drink, a well-kept pad, or jet-setting in style, Bespoke Post improves your life one box at a time.
Oh, the music is done, so I'll go back to normal. Each box goes for under $50, but has more than $70 worth of unique gear waiting inside for you. The first of each month, you'll receive an email with your box of details. You'll have 5 days to change the colors and sizes or add extra goodies to your box. If you're not feeling that month's box, skip it, dog. From barrel-aging kits to limited edition cigars, we talked about that, weekender bags to classy DOP kits, Bespoke Post offers essential goods and guidance for the modern man or woman.
Man, dude, this is 3 for 3 on ads where I'm just like, these have all
You're very
changed my
happy.
life.
Yeah. To receive 20% off your first subscription box, go to boxofawesome.com and enter the code Valleycast at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code Valleycast for 20% off your first box. Bespoke Post, themed boxes for guys that give a damn. Speaking of awesome, going into the new year,
Yes.
here's what I think. Goals that I had when we first started this that some have changed, some have not. I really want to grow our
Trivia bidet.
our podcast game. I
Yes.
think there's another 2 or 3. We have some really good ideas that we need to do. We just need to find the time to schedule them while balancing all these things, and that's where this person that we want to hire coming in could really help out. But I want us all to I want the Valleyfolk themselves to bring another 1 or 2 podcasts to the table, and then I want to help other people bring podcasts to the table and turn the Valleycast into a bit of a network where we're just supporting creative people wanting to do creative, unique, different things with podcasts and get their voices out there.
That was part of the thing I was excited about this episode of the Valleycast, is it was like a test.
It's a test
see
to see if we could do it, and I feel like we're doing okay.
It's just not what it would be as a podcast, and not like I don't know. I like the there's like a relaxation that comes, and it's also not based in like needing to be super on. And I like the laid
Yeah,
back.
there's a competitive
It's nice.
onness when the 4 of us are together because we want to make each other laugh.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
So I want to do that. I want to grow out certain ideas that we have. I really do truly think that Trivia Bidet could be our hot ones, and we'll bring guests in and do fun competitions or interview styles with that. And I think it'd be really funny and different and unique and very Valleyfolk. We've been working on to bring on some sponsors for that. It could be awesome. I want to merchandise some of our games. I want to take the movie game, kind of build it up a little bit more, make it a little bit more of a robust idea, and I want to turn that into a card game,
Cool.
like the Valleyfolk's first card game, and I want to send that out because I think it's really good.
It is really good, and people will love that game.
I don't think it's the most unique idea because people have played that.
That's what makes it
before,
work.
But we will give our unique version of it.
Oh, people have played that game? I've never
sure.
heard of
like,
it.
yeah, I don't think it's. I think they might have. Yeah, I think it's been around. People have played versions of it, right?
Cool. For those of you who aren't familiar, if you haven't seen it, here's an example. A boy gets left behind while his family goes to New York, and his family goes to Christmas, and he has to protect his Alone on the Ranger. I'm not good at the game. I'm the worst
Home Alone
person.
on the Ranger.
Home Alone on the Ranger.
But anyways, I have an idea to make that very unique and bigger than that, so that it would be a fun card game for people to play at home.
Yeah,
So-
man, that's so cool because if you made it look high quality and
Yeah.
highly well branded and stuff.
I think that's where the business side of us needs to think a little differently, right? Like we're used to making videos and doing shows. Now let's try to make some things outside of ourselves in that realm.
I love that, man.
Yeah, and like merchandise wise, I've never wanted our merch or anybody's merch to and this is a problem I had with my time at Smosh, is that people only want to buy so many things that say Valleyfolk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have a cool logo. This is an alternate version of it right here that I'm holding up, the night version. But once you have a hoodie or a shirt, you may not want much more than that. And I get that. I think we should be trendsetters. I think we have a cool base for we could have this cool retro outdoorsy merch line that is more trend setting than opposed to putting our logo on the trends.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we could do that. I think we have the team that would be excited to build that up.
Yeah.
But that's just me. And
That's
then-
I'm silent because I have thoughts, and
Yeah.
I know who we should talk to.
Yeah, television. I would love for us to have a pilot script in the back of our pocket that we
Got
could
it.
take out. I
We're
would
good.
love for us
We're
to,
good. We got
like you
two.
said, make a movie and all
Got
that
two.
stuff, and just get the Valleyfolk name out. I'm not looking for. I mean, it'd be great to have this this rocket into success, but as long as we're going to shoot for that, but as long as we're still continuing on an upward trajectory,
Mhm.
that will feel good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would like. Really, that is the most basic is just the core growth and like
Yeah.
sustainability and being like, okay, like that, because that's what leads to the good stuff.
Yeah. And I'd like to do more of our strengths as well. Like
Yeah.
I want Steve and myself and Lee to do more music. Like I think we should have music videos. We should have an album out by the end of this year.
Yep,
You know, I think we should do a little bit more of the intellectual stuff that you would like to dip into.
we'll see.
And not be afraid of that, like the new stuff, philosophy. Let's just try it.
Yeah, I would like to get back to that. I don't know what the market is for that, and I don't know exactly what the voice is either. But yeah, I think a part of that's going to be, especially looking at kind of structural changes, potentially to accommodate growth-oriented moves. Part of that is me being like, oh, I think I'm going to try to start making videos again on my channel, but it's been a long time that I
You
tried
get home and
filming.
you're tired, man.
Tired, and then even if I'm not tired, I filmed one more. I tried it literally over 10 times, and I got the footage, and it was fine, and it looked good, it looked fine, and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, it was just totally. It was the first time that in a year that I've talked directly to a camera and been like, "Hey guys, it's me, Elliot. What's up,
Hey,
bro?"
Elliot, would you say hello to Mr. Second Guessing?
Yeah, you've never done that.
Never.
You've never
Oh,
looked at
no.
a camera and been like,
Oh no, not really.
not as like a. This
Very-
is Joe. This is my life.
Not really. I'm gonna turn the sound off on this.
Because
Ooh, okay, what are we at, Kate?
You're at an hour and 3 minutes.
Hour and 3. Okay, cool. Then I have one more thing that I would like to
Please, yeah.
discuss because we're talking about the business and moves in the future and stuff like that. This is a legit one, and we've complained about this a little bit before, but this is for real. Another thing that we want to do in the next year is stream. Because we realize that there's a future there for us. YouTube is different. It's a different beast. You're playing the algorithm, but there's something about streaming, and we're not saying a video game. We will do video games probably because there's a casualness to that on Twitch that is very alluring, and we're pretty fun when we do it. But we also want to break Twitch. We have a lot of ideas that would be more performance-based in a live setting, and we want to move towards that.
real-time improv shows,
Right.
kind of.
And
or
we
sketch
haven't
shows, yeah.
because straight up, we don't have internet in our office. We have like one up, one down speed. We've tried to hack everything. We have went to every competitor in the area. No dice. We've went to Spectrum, who is in the area. It'll cost us $50K to get internet, actual internet, real internet installed in this building. So it's a no-go.
And just so you're clear, that was not what we were
told.
under the impression.
Which
which is part of it. I feel like people are going to hear that and they're like, "Didn't you check?" And
we
it's
make
like, well,
rookie mistakes.
Yes.
And there was a rookie mistake, but it wasn't the biggest rookie mistake. We hacked the internet through a SIM card and through Verizon and their assurances, and we paid more for internet last month than we did for rent on the building, and that was a bad month. So this
that was
is
a very, very, very bad month.
This is a legit growing pain, and we've made it work by going over to Steve's. Bless his heart. Most employees of most places wouldn't let the company infiltrate their house to do anything, but he's let us stream there. But it's not what we want to do. We want to get here early in the mornings and stream for 2 hours and kind of use that as a warm-up to get the creative juices flowing for the day, spend some time on the platform with the fans.
Remind ourselves that this is fun.
Yep, do some things and build streaming the way it needs to be built, which is constant, which is a lot. But we can put that into our day, but we haven't had a chance to do it. So that is something that we are shooting for in the new year. And in saying that, we don't know if this is going to be our home much longer.
Yeah.
So we might be on a journey.
Yes, we might be on a journey, which means with journeys goes money, and and so that I guess is the
Which
final.
we have to. That's the risk. This is the biggest risk we
That
need
would be
to
the
take.
one where it would be like, well, this is a no-brainer.
And this isn't a guarantee.
It's a painful no-brainer.
We're looking. This has become our home. We've made do, and there's a lot of things that we like about it. And if we have to stay here, we're gonna find a way to make it work as best as possible. But we're looking.
Despite that, there is not a day that I'm not incredibly like proud when I open the door. Like
it's
there's
our home.
something. Yeah, it's a very beautiful thing. I feel very like in case the seriousness of this podcast is I don't want to deter anybody or give the impression that it's not lost how cool all of this still is and how insane it all is, because I feel like it's like because of the Patreon and because of the support of people who I think get what we do, I get to go to work every day and I get to walk into this office, and I love getting here early and I love staying late sometimes, not really, and but I love getting here early in the morning. It's freezing, and I make coffee. You make coffee, and it's just like, I don't know. It's beautiful. Like it's
our
this
thing.
It is already a dream come true, and this year has been a dream come true. And I feel like anything that we're talking about is adding to that dream. And like, we want stability. You especially, that makes it dampens the sort of romantic notion that I might be able to have, because I can walk in and be like, yeah, this is great. But at the same time,
and it is great. That's for sure.
And it is great, especially because I mean, look, like the Rome is falling a little bit in this
in the digital industry.
like
for sure.
Everyone, and not even views, but AdSense
Companies.
and company. I mean, dude, you got out like
right before
the door was
man.
And
that's not the only one. All of these multi-channel networks and digital companies that have put their chances and their fates on the back of internet, YouTube-based content have kind of fallen in the last year. And it's scary and it's sad. Like, we're surrounded by a bunch of people that are looking for homes and trying to figure out what their next steps are. And, we're trying to support them as best we can, and at the same time realizing how fortunate we are that we're getting to do this. And that's not lost on us.
Yeah, it's not lost to the point that I'm like, I don't, and this is just me, my personal stuff, but there's a part of me that's like, I don't deserve this. Like, I was like, I don't know, it was the other night, and it was related to this job, but I was telling you about it a little bit, but I was at my home, and Peter's my roommate, and we did a podcast together called Fundamentals. But anyway,
Fundamentalists. Check it out.
Great plug, Elliot. But we had some people over.
Tongue don't go back.
Tongue go back. Tongue don't go back. Oh, I miss Stephen Lee. I love doing this, but of course I miss him. So anyway, but I was there, and I was like, I got home like 2 hours. Oh, it was the day that you gave me the stuff that I ate that didn't go well, that I put in my mouth, and not to spoil it, but
guys, it's not that it wasn't a sex thing. Okay, it was a
oh, it does sound like a sex thing what I just said. Yeah, you put your in my mouth, and
it didn't go well.
It didn't go well. But
you went to the hospital.
I was game to try the thing that I underestimated the power of, and it wiped me out. I talked about it on my Instagram story. I've already talked about it. I was given chewing tobacco, and I was like, "This will be fine," and I was like, "It'll be fun. My stomach can handle anything." And I have not experienced. It was like my spirit was taken.
This
from
is
me.
my gesticulation version of what happened to you that day.
Don't forget the high. Yeah, the high was really.
Oh!
Yeah.
Just
dead. Nothing.
Dead.
Vomiting, horrible stuff. And somebody like in my DMs was like, "Dude, you vomit constantly. Like, stop vomiting."
Stop vomiting.
I was like, kind of okay. True. But anyway, so I felt sick, went home. Even that was such a fun day. You guys were all so sweet about everything. And then I was with Pete. I was having friends over, and I was like, I get to go to work tomorrow and like make funny. And I was like, what happened? How did this happen? Yeah. And I know it's a ton of work and it's super stressful. Man, thank you to everybody. I wish I could. I can't convey without getting emotional.
Yeah, thank yous to everybody. Our patrons, our wonderful production support staff here, all the friends and family that have supported us along the way. So let's end this on a super high note.
Yes,
because like you said, it felt like there was a lot of complaining, but it was more being real about it all. It's a high number, but we can rattle through it. 5. What are your 5 favorite things you've done or made this year with the Valleyfolk? What are 5 moments that just stick out to you? You don't have to elaborate.
Well, the birthday of Joe is far and away sort of, I think, our calling card right now. I mean, it captures, I think, most things.
It's very good. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but
you did great.
That's
dude.
a toot sound.
I told you, I think it's the best thing you've like acting.
Oh,
Your acting was so good at the turkey. I actually watched the whole thing this morning. The second episode of your show, where we made joke, where we said live from New York, it's Saturday night. And your world today, certain moments in it, I think, are amazing. Certain moments where we're all just hanging out.
There's magic with that show
and
sometimes.
then honestly, dude, the live shows, the traveling with you guys, Buffer, getting to kind of reform and work through stuff and like push through and freak out and come out the other side has been my favorite.
I liked your show in general. I really do feel like we knocked it out of the park. I love the old version, which was we made a television show. For 3 weeks in a row, we made a television show. That thing was 22 minutes plus every single time, multiple segments. It was amazing. I think we proved that we can do it, and we did it with a small, amazing, awesome team. But I love what it is now too. Your show across the board makes me happy.
It was
every week.
It does prove that we can be like, all right, and like make it happen.
It was different. It's different. It's wacky. It's crazy. It's heartfelt at times. I love it. Buffer Festival, loved it. I loved going up to Toronto and experiencing not just watching our stuff on the big screen, but also that experience was hearkening back to, I feel like, just focusing on the creation as opposed to the creator. And I've talked about that before. I liked that. I feel like all of these...
Oh, what a nice way to put it.
Yeah,
Did you say that or did they say that?
I said that. All these people came
should steal
together, and it was about the art this time. Other than VidCon is wonderful. Love it. But it's not about the art. It's about the people. It's about the creator. It's about the personality. And that's what most YouTube events are now. This was us sitting in a theater and watching what people made, and it was great.
And it was like,
we're
not... Because sometimes we can have egos, and we're like, we're doing the best stuff. And then we watch some of that stuff, and we're like,
the music video category blew me out of the water. I left inspired because of that. And the city was beautiful. We had a great karaoke night. It was amazing. I loved that.
Made love with Nicholas Hamilton a lot.
Constantly. What a wonderful, wonderful man. Who is now a man. He's a man now.
He's a man.
He's a man.
Just clarify to make the joke that I just said.
Sticking on the travel bug, I loved Arizona. We sold out a comedy club months after coming back together, and that isn't because of us. That's a testament to the people that are supporting us and willing to travel and willing to be there.
It's never not a shock, though. Like, it's gonna... Dude, if it's Buffer at the end and we go down and there's like... Do you remember, like, there were a lot of people, a lot of creators at Buffer, and it seemed like, and I could be wrong, there was a substantial amount of people that were there, viewers and fans to see us and meet us, and it still is sort of like, I don't know, I think collectively, I don't know collectively, but I think you and I tend to be like, oh my, like, it's still shocking.
Oh, every time. Every single time. And it was shocking in Arizona when we went to karaoke and we had a wonderful night. These karaoke nights, and we're hoping to have one in New York this weekend, they might be the overall favorite. They are so much fun.
Dude, we're hyping them up to the point now that we're going to start getting banned from karaoke play. I was thinking about it, and I was like, because I told somebody that on the Patreon, they were like, are you going to whatever? And I was like, yeah. I was like, we might go to karaoke afterward. And then doing the math, I was like, that's about 400 people.
Yeah, they're not all going to show up. Think about every time we've went somewhere, some people show up.
Yeah, this is a big one, though, right? I mean, this
Maybe.
is like...
We'll find out. Stay tuned.
We'll be careful. Let's be careful not to tweet it out.
And then I guess the other two, I'll just throw out some specific videos. I still think one of the most creative, like we did a very internet-y thing, was cake while eating cake. I love that video.
Yes.
Singing cake while eating cake was spurned or birthed or spored.
Spawned.
Yeah, spawned from a live stream.
Yeah.
It's one of those like beautiful full circle things. We're playing a dumb game at Steve's house.
Dude, like the second thing we did was 3 Tims and a Tina, where I played a war veteran who was testing out the sense of candles.
Which was awesome.
There's no way that company's not going to be successful.
It was awesome.
We're going to be huge.
So cake eating cake, I love. It's just it's so good, and I like that we're like
You edited that, didn't you?
Yeah,
man, you did a great job.
35-year-old man doing that still. It's great. I love that. And there's a childlike sense that I love, and then I
play. Yeah, you like the play. You're really good at injecting play into moments that might otherwise become very structural and very like this is what it needs to be.
Which we do which we tend to almost fall in sometimes. And then I like movie game. I love movie game, and I love trivia bidet. I think these are ideas that could become something.
Movie game, trivia bidet, any of these things that you're a savant when it comes to these kind of strange ideas that are us in front of a camera doing something. Like, it's so simple, but you will add your own twist. It's I think a result of being on YouTube for 75 years, but it ends up being like the stuff that unfortunately if we didn't have it, we would be in a much worse place, because you're adding the thing that, like, I think is sort of YouTube, like it's the bread and butter. Well, your show's the bread and butter, but you know what I mean.
It harkens to the platform that we're on, but
It's our spin on it, which is so cool. That's what
that's
you're
our
doing.
rules that we always do.
Yeah.
A spin. It harkens to
Shoot water up our butt.
Yeah, it was real good. You should watch it. But the late night television is starting to do this stuff. Like, I feel like our team could go and work at a Kimmel and help add great ideas to something like that. Support a staff like that, or become and be that ourselves. We could do a late night show.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also something that I think is really interesting. I'm going to throw this out. I know we're going to wrap up and all that stuff. I read this. Did you read the New York Times? I think it was New York Times article of Ellen, or maybe it was New York.
She's about to go do stand up again or something.
Her special comes out this month. It's called Relatable, but basically, like, you hear these kind of like rumors about Ellen, and she doesn't have a reputation of being cuddles and fluffy.
Really?
Yeah, she's has a reputation of being kind of hard, which I don't care or mind necessarily, but it's about this whole article. It's like an expose on, you should read it. It's fascinating because she's basically talking about being stuck in a kind of like cookie cuttery, sugary host mentality.
Oh, she wants more.
And she wants more. And so she's doing this special where, and the writer of the piece is like, even in her, this show's called Relatable, and the joke is that she's making, she made $87.5 million last year or something like that. So like the joke is that she's not relatable, but she also is trying to be like a little bit more raw and a little bit more dark and a little bit like she's swearing, but she's still incorporating some of the daytime stuff. But I've heard this
Evil Ellen.
Evil Ellen, yeah. I wonder. I don't know. I look at people like that and the trajectory that they go on, and I'm like, what version of that is what is our version of when we all go, what shell are we breaking out of? And I feel like
what's the next thing? Yeah,
and I feel like a lot of what adds to the couch is a certain universal desire for all of us to break out of whatever shell that we have found ourselves in. At least that's my like mentality. I'm just like, just do weird stuff and stop, get out of your head a little bit. But anyway,
which you have. You've done a lot of awesome weird stuff.
That's very sweet.
Recently, it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I feel like I'm re-entering silliness a little bit, but yeah, man, it's cool. But definitely read the Ellen piece. And
I'm going to.
The late night hosts and that whole world is such a cool thing for me, and it's very inspiring.
Me too. It's alluring. There's a part of me that's like, I think I could do very well in that world. I think I could help a team there do some really cool stuff.
You could host it, man.
Or host it or whatever. I just feel like I could do it.
Yeah.
I could have.
You see it.
Energy-wise, I would have destroyed it at 25. I wonder what it's like entering that world when you're older.
Nah, you'd be even better now.
Maybe.
You're calmer, you're more collected.
Sleep all the time. I just want to sleep. But those shows are shot in the daytime, so we're good.
Yep. There you go.
I think that's it. What a good conversation.
This was nice, Joe.
Kait, was that good? What did you think of that? Okay, again, thank you to everybody listening to this. Thank you to everybody that watches all our stuff.
Thank you,
If
yes.
you want to support us and help us grow, go to patreon.com/thevalleyfolk. There's a lot of cool things. We have a new exclusive show there. We post bloopers. There's discounts for merch. We're actually building that out, and that feels nice, too. We're trying to get better at that.
Delivering on the stuff, which feels good.
We're trying to get better at our Patreon game, and I do feel like it's worth your time to go there. A lot of the stuff is on YouTube, but there's a lot of really cool behind-the-scenes and exclusive stuff on the Patreon
bloopers
as well.
Yeah, so good. All right, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Kait.
Yeah, man. Bye-bye.